You probably remember Mortal Kombat, the 90s video game that was so violent it sparked a backlash that included congressional hearings. Hundreds of copies of an equally violent but lesser known video game from that era have turned up right here in Albuquerque. And as News 13's Crystal Gutierrez reports, people from all around the world are trying to get their hands on a copy.
It's somewhat controversial, or was at the time.
And now Jonathan Sakura, owner of the Albuquerque game store Gamers Anonymous, has hundreds of copies of the game Night Trap on his hands. It was released in 1992. Sakura says gamers back then weren't impressed, but it became a lot more popular when Congress took note.
There was a graphic depiction of the violence against women with strong overtones of sexual violence. I find this segment deeply offensive and believe that it simply should be taken off the market.
At a 1993 hearing on violence in video games, then Senator Joseph Lieberman called Night Trap ultra-violent, sick, and disgusting, and said the full-length interactive movie was too real.
Allowing you to have control of the cameras and the traps with this remote unit.
Lawmakers worried it could lead to real violence among kids. Soon after, customers would start seeing this, ratings on video games. The Sega CD was eventually recalled, then censored, and a revised version was released.
It's not that like it's actually that violent, but because it was women technically getting killed or whatever they called it, and they're sometimes dressed in their 90s. It was way more than anybody was ready for at the time.
So how did Jonathan get all of these copies? Well, after the recall, Blockbuster sent back their copies. One man got a hold of them and sold them at a flea market. Another man then sold them to Jonathan.
It's kind of fun to think of how surreal it is opening up this box, and I can literally just laugh.
Now he's getting interest from people all over the world who want to buy the novelty game.
We've actually sold out of the complete ones already because I've been getting requests from people from Sweden, from British Columbia, Las Vegas, Texas, all over the states, and a handful of people outside the country.
Crystal Gutierrez, KRQE News 13.
The timing is also surprising. The original producers of Night Trap recently launched a Kickstarter campaign to fund the re-release of that controversial video game.